In this video, we're going to go ahead and talk about your social media campaign and the analytics workbook that's been put together for you. You do need to go ahead and use the analytics workbook in Excel, or I guess you could move it to a Google Sheets, but this is something you're going to have to get into week after week. So make sure that you're keeping it in a good place, that you can get to it over and over again, because you're going to need these numbers. And the nature of the analytics for Facebook and for the other social media platforms, you can't see more than 28 days worth of data, and you're going to need to go back further than that. So make sure that you have downloaded the workbook and you're completing it each week. You also need this information to put into your weekly reports. Alright, so the first one we're looking at right now is WordPress. So the first column you'll see right here is campaign goals. So I want you to think about overall, what do you want to accomplish? How many posts do you want to create throughout the campaign? Do you want to do 50? Do you want to do the minimum amount? What do you want to create there? So let's say 25. So you're going to go above and beyond. How many views do you want a week? How many visitors? How many likes? How many comments? So these are what you are working toward. This should relate to your strategies, to your KPIs, to what you've established so far in your campaign. So where do these numbers come from? Let's go ahead and take a look. You're going to go into stats under your WordPress site, and you'll get quite a bit of information. I'm going to go ahead and shrink this down a little bit so you can see a little bit more. Alright, so what are we looking at? We need to see, squish that over, number of posts this week. The easiest way to figure out posts this week is to look at posts and look at the dates. Which dates fall into how many posts you wrote this week? That's pretty easy. So that's going to go here into week 1. Alright, number of views this week. Let's go to stats and make sure you're looking at weeks. You can look at months. You can look at years. It really depends on the information that you're trying to get a hold of. So you want weeks. So how many views do you have in that week? That's what's going to go there. Next one is visitors. So that's this number right here, visitors. How many likes? How many comments? So that's going to come in for that individual week. So you can go ahead and check that individual time, and you can also roll over. See, it's giving you different information. I've got it by weeks right now. So if I want to go back a week, it'll give me those numbers. So you have that information available to you. So the next section you want to look at is at refers, so all time. So if you scroll down right now, this is going to show you where is your traffic coming from. So maybe one of your strategies is to drive traffic to your website from Twitter. So how are you going to know you're going to do that? Look here at the refers section. So I'm going to go ahead and do the arrow, and I want all time. So it makes it a little bit easier for me to see what's going on. I can also look at 7 days. So in the last 7 days, where's my stuff coming from? So here I can see that how much of it's come from search, so 1. I can see how much has come from Facebook, from Twitter, from Pinterest. So those are going to help me figure out where is my information coming from. Because it's a brand new site, I'm not getting that much traffic yet. Also don't have a lot of information that I've been posting on this site. So each week you're going to have that information filled in. If it's a 0, leave it a 0. That's what it is. Alright, next thing we're going to look at is all time. So let's go back here to stats and look at your posts. So go to posts and pages. What do your all time numbers look at right now? All time, how many posts have you made overall? How many views have you gotten? You know, what is the most all-time, what is the best thing that you've got going so far? How many visitors? So let's go back and go back. So we've got a lot of different information here to play with. Timing, most popular day and hour. So where is that information coming from? You're going to go ahead and go into Insights, and you'll see information. So all time. This is where that information is coming from. So ignore what I just said. Go into Insights. Coming here to all time posts. You have 1, views is 23, visitors is 7. So here it's going to tell you what is your most popular day and time. So right now my most popular day is Monday at 4 o'clock. So Monday, 4 o'clock. So this will help you get a better handle on what is going on in your site. When is the best time for you to post? When should you be pushing schedule? When are people paying attention? So that's why you're going to be putting that information in each week. If you want to, you can turn this information into graphs. You're not required to right now, but if you really wanted to, you could. All right, so let's look at, that's some of the information that you're tracking for WordPress. You'll see that there's a lot more information here. I'm not requiring you to keep track of all of it. I want you to mostly just get in and play with it and see what's available, but you do need to go look at it week after week. All right, next thing we're going to look at is Facebook. So for Facebook, we're going to go ahead and go into your page. So you're going to go to the section called Insights. And this is going to be a little bit on you. You need to figure out how many original posts do you have this week, how many shared. You need to go through this first week that you have the book open and make sure that you are putting in those goals. So I didn't put these dummy numbers in for you, but you can put those in. All right, so what are your goals? Overall, what do you want to accomplish with your Facebook campaign? How many posts do you want to have? How many should those original? How many should be shared? What are your page view? What do you want to accomplish overall? Is it attainable? Remember those SMART goals that we were talking about earlier in the campaign. So let's look at where is this information coming from. So you're going to go ahead and get this one called Overview. Overview is going to show you a few different things. One is page views. So page views this week. So look and make sure the dates match. You can go through here and change those dates. You can change the information. So last 7 days is generally what you're going to want. So page views is going to be 9. How many likes do you have this week? So page likes. And make sure you're putting down like the date. So week 1 is going to be whatever this date is, so June 11th to June 17th. So you're using that same information from report to report. Next thing is post reach. So you'll see post reach is right here. Next is post engagement, which is right down here. And page followers. So if I scroll down, I get page followers right here. All right, so now I want a little bit more information. I want post engagement. There's 4 different kinds of videos. So let's go ahead and go to posts. And what type of posts are you putting in? So we're going to go here to the top to post types. And I've only done links and photos. So maybe you haven't done the status of the video. So those numbers will stay 0. So let's look at my link types. For week 1, my average reach is going to be 136. My post clicks, which is the purple, it's going to be 7, and my reactions, comment, shares is going to be 23. So I'm going to fill that in for each of the different types of post types. And I also want to look at people reached. So I'm going to go ahead and go here to people, and I want people reached, and I want to know what percentage is women and what percentage is men. And we're going to kind of take a look at this week after week to see what's information is, who's your audience? Who did you say your audience was? Is that who's really paying attention to your campaign? You're going to pay attention to this country information when it comes to the final report, because you're going to need to kind of plot on a map. Where's your stuff coming from? Why is it coming from there? What can you learn by looking at all this information? So for Facebook, I'm not requiring you to look at a boatload of the statistics. You can get buried in statistics in Facebook. For our purposes, you just need to look at this information. All right, so let's go ahead and look at Twitter. On Twitter, in order to get to Twitter Analytics, it's analytics.twitter.com. So I need to know how many original tweets do you have this week? How many retweets did you make this week? So you're going to have to go through and take a look at your tweets and see, I got logged out, how much. I'm going to look, this account has been quiet for a little while, so I'm going to look at April. So how many tweets, how many retweets? So I'm going to go ahead and look at view tweet activity. It shows you more information. So go ahead and count those. So I want to know tweet impressions this week. So let's go back to, scroll up a little bit. Right here, you earned this many impressions over a 30-day period. So maybe I need to look at just the last 7 days. You earned 137 over the 7-day period. So pay attention to what this information is right here. Profile visits this week. So let's go home, and it'll say things like profile visits. Here's that tweet impressions as well. Here's my followers, which is the next information right here. We're then going to look at your tweets. So make sure you're up here at the top and go into tweets. And it's going to say, what is your engagement rate? So let's look at this engagement. Let's look at 7 days. So what is this engagement rate? You're looking at this chart right here. You're going to come down, you're going to look at link clicks, you're going to look at retweets, and you're going to look at replies. So that information is going to go into this chart right here under week 1. And the last little bit you need to look at is that people reach. So let's go into audiences, look at your followers, and male is 46 and female is 54. So you're going to put that information in here. So notice how from platform to platform your genders change. And that's one of the things I want you to pay attention to. Who are you talking to on each platform? All right, the last one you're going to look at is Pinterest. All right, so with Pinterest, you've got a couple of different ways to look at your analytics. To get to your Pinterest analytics, you're going to go into Pinterest, and right here it says Analytics, so go to Overview. And here you're going to get information. There's 2 different versions of Pinterest Analytics, depends on which one. You should all be getting the new one. You can switch back if it says switch back, but the information you need to get is right in here. Make sure you cannot see analytics if you're not set up as a business account. If you need to, Google how to change my Pinterest from personal to business, and you can go through and change those settings. Otherwise, you cannot get into this information. All right, so let's go ahead and go to my Pinterest. The first thing I need to do is look at my profile. So with my profile, I need number of boards. So I click here on boards. It says I have 28 boards. Now this is my personal account, not my social media campaign account, but I just wanted to give you some. This one has a little bit better numbers. So how many pins do I have? Pins has 873. How many of those did I create? Those you're going to have to go through and figure out on your own. How many pins did you create? So like I know these are ones that I developed on my own. So you need to keep track of those numbers. All right, now we're going to get into the analytics themselves. We look at the overview. And it's going to see things like how many monthly viewers do we have? So I lied. We want to stay over here. You want to go right into your profile. Right here it says monthly viewers and monthly engaged, so that's where those numbers are coming from. And how many more followers did you get? So let's go ahead and now go into our analytics. So Pinterest is still a little bit wonky as far as where things are coming from. All right, so it's going to be impressions this week. So we want impressions this week. So we want no split. And we want it, actually we want by content type. There we go. We want by content type, and we want to look at organic because we are not doing paid and earned, we're doing organic. So our impressions this week, we want that number right there. So 1320. Engagements, so we're going to go ahead and come down here to engagements. We're going to do it by content type as well and organic. So there's my engagements. And that's all I need for that one. So the next thing I need to know is my people reached. So if I go into analytics and go to audience insights, depending on how active you are, this may or may not be showing up because you want to make sure you're looking at your total audience. You don't want to be looking at the whole Pinterest audience, your total audience. So I'm going to come down and it's going to give me a general information of women and men and unspecified. So Pinterest is a little special in that it has that unspecified category. Still looking at that, where's your traffic coming from. I'm going to go ahead and look at by countries because you're going to be actually putting that in. So kind of interesting, you know, why do I have so much, 10% of my audience is coming from Spain. So I kind of want to know, you know, what is it that they're following? What, you know, why is that so popular? So it's one of those things you're going to look at. So the only one we didn't find was followers this week. And I'm not sure where followers this week is hiding. So let's go back into Pinterest. Let's go back into our profile. Followers. There you go. That's where that number is going to come from. So grab your followers number right there. How many people are following you? So that is all you're going to need. You've got to go through and do this week after week. If you do not collect this week after week, you can't from week 7 go back to week 3 because it's more than 28 days old, and you won't be able to get this information. So you want to be able to show, are you, accomplishing your goals? Are you ahead of your goals? Maybe you want to make sure you got 50 comments a week and you're only getting 3. So what do you need to do to adjust? Do you need to adjust your goal? Do you need to adjust how you're putting the stuff together? So make sure that you are filling this out week after week. You're going to be needing these sheets exactly to put into your final report. You also need this information to put into your weekly reports week after week. So it'll make your life a lot easier if you keep track of this one to begin with. That's all. If you have any questions, ask.